You are live, Amy.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad everybody tuned in and wanted to discuss a little bit with you this morning about something that I'm kind of passionate about trying to get us looking at, and that's expireds and FSBOs. So go ahead and everybody's got the slides. I'm going to go ahead and work on trying to present those to you right now. One thing that I wanted to bring up, I think, Judy, can you mute yourself, Judy?
Yes.
Thank you, sweetie. One thing that I wanted to talk about, the reason I wanted to bring this up is that we are also busy working on our pipeline and our strategies for the end of the year and next year coming up. We've got so many great tools that are working for us on the Moxie and reaching out and geo-farming and touching everybody with newsletters. But I don't see a lot of agents out here right now working on pushing towards the low-hanging fruit, as we call it. Open houses are great. We can get occasionally, sometimes we have some people come through, sometimes they're empty. Working geo-farming can take a while, but it also produces. So I wanted to try to get everybody's attention to something that's happening right now, and that's the low-hanging fruit on the ground and working expires and for sale by owners. Okay, so that's the whole reason behind this, is to try to get us out there. So I'm going to kind of walk you through some of this. I'm going to push on my present right now. And let's see if we can push you over here real quick. Are we presenting? Are we good? Thumbs up, somebody? Cool. Okay. All right. So, standard etiquette, if everybody would mute, I know we've got that on. Please, I know, Beth, you're going to help me watch the questions as they come through. Please feel just free to stop me anytime as we go through this. It's a little awkward talking to a lot of people on silent. So, please feel free to unmute and interrupt me at any time if there's something you'd like to chat about. Okay? All right. So what I want here, the objection here is to learn how to go after FSBOs, for sale by owners, expired listings, canceled listings, etc. Okay? Down here on the slide set that I sent you, I have attached numerous YouTube videos. And so this particular one, I'm not going to go open up and go through, but this one is from two training people across the nation, and one of them works on expireds and one of them works on FSBOs. And you're going to learn a lot today that everybody in all these videos, everybody has a different thought process. Some people say cold call, some people say don't call, go knock. Some people say take this when you go to the door. Some people say take this. What I want you to get out of all this is just the drive to want to go and do this. Just to understand that these are low-hanging fruit and that we need to come up with something that works for you. So by watching all these videos and taking tips and tricks from everybody, you take it, you manipulate it, you make it your own and be comfortable with it so that you can do that. Okay, and so so you're going to see all these little blues. These are actually links to YouTube videos for you to go through and watch. This one actually gets a little bit crazy, this first one. It's kind of fun. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Let's talk about the low-hanging fruit in our business. We're reaching out through our SOI, our database, our sphere of influence, however you want to call it, through Moxie emails, our newsletters, our campaigns, and those are continual basis making images to your client, to your sphere of influence. But not all of them are ready to buy and sell right now. But it's very important because you are putting an image, and marketing is called an image. And so your image is in front of them, and so you're there in front of them, but they're waiting to have that need in their time to actually buy and sell. But you're putting that out there. It's a wonderful tool, campaigns, and you're reminding them on your top of mind awareness with them. We're sending postcards. We're sending handwritten notes to people who we want to hopefully to use us when they're ready, but they're not ready. So holding open houses gets us a little bit closer because hopefully some people will walk through our open house, and I don't know if you know the data on it, but usually people who attend open houses buy within 6 months. So even when they still come to your open house, you're of course putting them in all your campaigns and you're nurturing them for 4 to 6 months. But what if you could find somebody who's out there ready to sell their house right now? What would you do to get that business? Why aren't we going after that business? So that's what we're looking at right now. Geofarming and just on the national stats can take up to 18 to 24 months to get a client that way. It's very important to geofarm your neighborhood. It's very important to geofarm in the subdivision that you're working on to stay constant in front of them. But it can take up to 1 year to 2 years for something to turn from that, from 1 or 2 to turn from it. So I want you to continue all those in the side and the background, but I want you to have a focus on something that's low-hanging fruit right now. Okay, so here it says, what are we doing to try to get the ones that are right now? Do you have a plan? Do you have a strategy? Do you have a script? Before I move on, I just want to ask if anybody is working expires and FSBOs as a part of the business plan. You unmute and tell me yes. Oh, that's sad. Okay.
I'm starting to.
Awesome, awesome. So listers or lasters? I know a lot of us like to work buyers because we like to put clients in our car and drive them around for a long time, and hopefully we get that multiple offer bid and everything going on. But it's fun, and that's one of the things we love about it is be a buyer's agent, look at the new homes, see what their face looks like when they get in there, and we get fulfilled from that way. But you also have to have in your business plan to sell, to be a listing agent that comes with it. Listers or lasters, and that's a term in our business that we use a lot, but those listings you can hold open houses, you can get buyers. You get too many buyers, refer them out and get more money. But listers or lasters, and to work on a market share, I really want to push forward to getting what's out there. Here's some objections that I've heard from the agents over the years. Granted, I've been a manager for 12 years now. I've been in the business 21. So I've heard a lot of excuses and issues and questions and remarks. But a lot of them that I get is just that I've forgotten that expireds and FSBOs are out there because we don't really talk about them too much. Another one, I don't really know how to approach them. Other agents chase those all the time. I don't want to bother with them. Those are too much work. Well, tell me, how much work is it to hold an open house and all the marketing and advertising and stuff that goes into it, making those calls, putting handwritten notes? It's really not much more work to actually pour into a ready to sell right now. So your return on your investment could be much greater. Okay, so what we've gone into and what the information is broken down to is the expireds come in 2 categories. And old expireds, and then the new ones that we check daily. And so we're going to see that as you go through your videos and stuff. And I, for the longest time, didn't even think about working old expireds. But Tom Ferry, Buffini, everybody who's going to see on here, they all have, scripts and information about working old expireds. New expireds that we're going to check daily, and then working the for sale by owners. Okay? So working old expireds. What does that mean? So when the time was the slowest and they tried to sell a home, and you'll see them on there, and then they just stopped. So take that time period, take over the past year on the MLS and pull up in your area things that expired or canceled. You can start 6 months, you can start, a year back and go all the way back. Now this is going to take some time. You pull them in there, but what you'll do is you'll have to see if they relisted or not. You have to scrub it to see if they relisted. A lot of expireds, you'll put them out there, and if they don't sell for a while, some of them will turn to rentals. I don't know if you've seen that. We try for 6 months, and towards the end, they get desperate, and the seller says, well, just try to rent it because I need to cover my mortgage. So you can also go to the rental pool on the same address and see if it rented. That's another great place to pick them up and say, I see that you tried to sell your home last year and didn't go, but it rented. Are you ready to do it now? So there's going back, and we've got videos and instructions on how to work old expireds in here, on how to take that time period, scrub it. Now you have a list of people who tried to sell but couldn't do it. So you can door knock, send mail, handwritten cards, call. What should you take with you when you mail or call? A list of recent sales in their neighborhood that have sold. The current value and their increase of what it is now. Good thing you didn't sell back then. And information about yourself. So just because you come and bring in some information about the neighborhood and it's selling, why should I use you? If you're a brand new agent, bring your bio. You can have some reviews. If you're a brand new agent and you've been working in the business world prior to real estate, you can still get some friends, some clients out there to give you a review. Hey, I really liked working with Jeffrey. He was so professional and positive all the time. Even though it wasn't real estate related, it's still a review for you. So you can still push those out there. So I know, some of our new agents go, but I don't have reviews. You can get some professional reviews because your rapport and who you are will carry through to your business you're in now. Okay, so just a little side note there. So taken from the Tom Ferry expires in FSBO strategy on the slide here, you'll see down here I've attached this whole video. It's got, I think it's probably about a half an hour long. He's just talking about, hello, my name is Jeffrey and I'm working with JBGoodwin Realtors. Do you know that there's a shortage of listings in our area right now? There are a lot of buyers that are actually interested in buying your home. I see that you had it on the market in 2019. Thank goodness it didn't sell because look how much it's worth right now. Can you check whether it's been expired or rented? Yes, you can. So this question came up. You'll see it as expired, but when you're in single residential, but you'll have to go to rented to see if it also, you'll have to double it up and see if it was in the rental category, which is also a great place to start chasing people who have landlords or property owners in the rental side. Are they done being a landlord? Do they know how much their home is worth now? Whole nother category, but yes.
Amy, you can check whether it was rented just by clicking on view history in the agent view of the home listing.
Yes, additional information. I think, yeah.
No, the view history, it'll show the expired, it'll show the rental history.
Thank you. And in San Antonio, is that for Austin?
Well, it's certainly for our ABOR listing, but I think San Antonio is the same.
San Antonio has a similar, thank you, Jim, sure does. Similar, under the additional information, you can go back to property history and it'll show everything that happened to that property while you're in it. Yeah. Thank you, Jim. Saber, same way, top right. Okay, so scrubbing them out at the beginning, getting the list together. Now you have a list. What am I going to do? Call, go by. Here's some information for you. If they say no, or they're not interested, well, that's great. But let me ask you, at what price would you become a seller? And that's a quick response to ask somebody who says, no, not right now, or I'm going to wait, but great. But at what price would you become a seller? And if you did sell, where would you move to? Can I help you get there? What would you be willing to sell for? Because we have so many more buyers on the market. The mailers, some of them say handwritten cards only. Small personal cards, here's some script information. Let them know that I know your home was on the market last year, but thank goodness it didn't sell because values have skyrocketed. If you want a free home valuation, please call me today. I'd love to create that personally for you. It's a quick little script for you. There's also, again, as we go through, there's many training videos on it, and you'll get different concepts. Some say go to the door, some will say not. Again, you just need to make whatever's comfortable for you. And sometimes you just have to go try each one of them and see which one you like and what's comfortable for you. Okay?
Amy, you've got a question. It says, how do you get their telephone number?
Okay, so there's title companies that offer programs. So there's a couple of different things. You can go on Spokio and buy numbers. You can buy a membership to Spokio. There's a website called fastpeoplesearch.com. You can get phone numbers that way and addresses, names. A lot of our title companies offer ability to, like Old Republic, here they offer ability, if you send them names for 8 cents a piece, you can get emails. I think for additional 5 cents, you can get phone numbers. So online resources to get phone numbers, Spokio, fastpeoplesearch.com, title companies have some toolboxes, again, Hold Your Public, and there may be others out there for you. Now, there are programs online and websites to purchase phone numbers if you want to purchase a phone number, if you want to go cold calling.
We can also get it on Remind, which I think we all have for free.
I don't know what Remind is.
Oh, it's Remind. It's in the, if you open up the ABOR link, right next to where you click for Matrix, you'll see Remind, and that lets you search by name or address, and you can find out all the information about the people who live there, who used to live there, the tenants who are there, etc.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks for the information. Well, that's for in Austin, you have that capability. In Sabor, unfortunately, we don't have that access. But that all of you in Austin and on the ABOR, that's a great tool if you have that. So there are ways of going out and getting phone numbers for people. If cold calling is the way you want to go, there's also robocalling. We'll go on it, and I'll show you on some of these videos. They'll go down and say that they put it on a robocall program and they work it that way. So finding a phone number, that's going to be up to you if you want to do the cold calling aspect of it. We can work on finding you ways of getting the phone numbers. Okay, moving on to current expired listings. Now these are hitting them fresh out of the frying pan. Okay, so it's a different thought process. What you need to understand is we need to be very empathetic with them. So I've kind of gotten your slides here. You have to understand that they just entrusted a real estate agent for 3 to 6 months. And they cleaned their house, and they took their kids out, and they walked their dog, and they drove to the corner, and they cleaned, and they lived like they were living in a showcase. And they waited for their feedback, on and on. So the anxiety and the feelings and the emotions of a seller trying to sell their home for months and months, and it didn't happen, and everything that they had to go through. And then as soon as it expired and it falls apart or they cancel it out, immediately guess what happens to them? We start robocalling them. So we get the impression, they get the impression of us that we're just the ambulance chasing real estate agents that didn't work right for me the first time, and what are you going to do different? You know, I cleaned my house every day, I took my kids out, I couldn't live right, and you all failed me. And now y'all are attacking me, saying, use me, use me. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to be very careful on your immediate response to the expireds and the cancels. Cancels in Sabor just means that they terminated the listing earlier than the expiration date. So they just fired us. So why? You know, we have to be prepared to go into speak with them empathetically. So, I kind of say it on here, it's, we've been called the bad ambulance chasers. We have to remember that emotions and we empathize professionally. We do not speak negatively about the previous agent. We just try to see what we can do to positively move them forward, staying on the objection of moving and trying to help them out. So always keep that in the back of your mind. I used to at times where I'd show up immediately. I'd have bags prepared in my car. I'd check it every morning after my coffee, and all the new canceled or expired, I'd see, first of all, I'd go on the MLS and see if they ever for 3 or 6 months lowered their price. See if I even wanted to work with them. Or for 6 months, if it was priced too high, I don't know if I wanted to run over there and start working with them yet. So I scrubbed it a little bit. You can also see what they bought it for. If there's a mortgage and they're too high, maybe that's why they have it priced just right. So keynotes to kind of scrub them a little bit to see. But if it was priced right and it was there for 3 or 6 months and nothing happened, it's on my list. I get out that morning, I get dressed, and I have my little basket with me, and I have a little bag prepared, and it's a handwritten note. It's very unfortunate your home didn't sell. I would love the opportunity to meet with you and see what we can do differently and move forward. And I put in there a a little flyer about myself, a little flyer about my marketing and all the marketing that I can do with my brokerage form. Maybe I even sometimes I put a little coffee cup in there and put everything inside the coffee cup from the dollar store. And I leave it on the door and I'd say, sit back, relax, let me do the work for you. So I put in there some art, some literature, some information, some data. So I could try to touch all the emotions and the information and the personality types. It cost me like less than $1, and I'd put it on their doors, knock on there. If they weren't home, I'd leave it for them to give me a call. Or I go back to the office and then I followed up with a handwritten note. I left something on your home today. I'd love the opportunity to talk to you. Okay, so the expireds and cancels that we check daily. Be prepared to go the same day, set an appointment. They are getting so many calls that you are just another one of 35 calls that day. And they are also very upset that you got their cell phone number. I've had my agents call and say, why did you give out the cell phone number for my house? I didn't want anybody calling me. We don't. Those people are going online and getting your phone number. So to knock on the door and take them something and be empathetic and say, let's get this done, sets you apart. Okay, sets you apart. Remember the stage of the emotions that they're in at that time. The objection is, so also on here when we talk about, well, I'm just going to go with the same agent. I see. Well, may I ask you why? What are they going to be doing differently so that you get different results and get your home sold this time? I'd really like the opportunity to share my strategy with you. So I have that objection right here on the bottom of your slide. So you can use that script, because a lot of them say, oh, I'm just going to use John again. He's got everything. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I get that you have the loyalty to that agent that you've been working with for him and her for now. Can I tell you why it makes me nervous that you're just going to relist with them? You know, your home was on the market for 6 months, and right now, homes in your market are selling within 30 days. So actually, your agent should have probably had this home sold 3 times over. Just want you to think about that. So these are some scripts up here that you can work with. This is by Kevin Ward, who's an ultimate real estate coach, conversation guy. There's another one, well, we're just not moving it. Another thing you could say, well, I'd be frustrated if my home was on the market and didn't sell too. You know, it was active a few weeks ago, you got an offer, you thought it was going to be moving, and now it's all crashed, and so you changed your mind. Now, I was wondering if we could have a quick 15-minute conversation, so if we can get you back on track for moving. What would it take? So a few scripts, a few ideas for you. Expireds in the long haul that are still sitting there and nobody goes back to work them, or the daily expireds. I want you to understand that those long haul expireds are just sitting there. Nobody's touching them. The average agent calls 2 to 3 times on expireds or FSBOs and stops. Stops. You need to be the one, and then that goes 5, 6, 7, or just make it, hey, just reaching out to you again. How's it going? What can we do for you? You will end up getting that. So on this slide here, I've just left it so I've just picked the top 4. These are scripts. These are, excuse me, videos, and they're all on YouTube. $500,000 GCI from expired and withdrawn listings. And this one, that one was a Tom Tool with Tom Ferry. Expired listings strategy. No cold calls. Door knocking on expireds. What to leave if no one's home. My expired listing script. Get the appointment every time. So all of these are programs, all of these are YouTube videos. You can just go through tons of them on there and pick from those how you want to put your program together. Okay? Any questions on that so far on expireds? No? I hope it starts getting your wheels turning, going, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I really want to do this. Take some time to get this rolling. Somebody can make $500,000 or make this their business plan, and only that, then there's something to be said about it. Okay. I also, just by the way, have one of these videos has some scripts on it, some really great scripts for FSBOs and expireds, and I printed those off for you because some of them say follow me or join my club or something. So I already have some of the scripts, and Beth has them pulled for you. So she's going to be sending those also. So there's some great, really simple scripts for calling or writing cards or going to the door and speaking those scripts, 1 and 2 sentences, okay? So that'll be also provided for you.
You have a question.
Sure.
It says, when we create our list of recently sold to include in our information, are we allowed to list the sold price?
For CM, yes. So are you, I guess, is the question, are we doing recently sold in our area? That's a unsolicited CMA. And yes, we do those. Yes, you can. And you can send that even out beautifully through Moxie Presents. Or you can give them a percentage and just say the property values have gone up this certain percentage. Good question.
Amber, did that answer your question? Do you want to unmute and clarify if it didn't?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm just, because I'm under the impression, I've always heard that the sold prices for properties in Texas are not public information. But if we're sending a letter that says, oh, 123 J Street sold for this much, and if we list 3 or 4 properties that are like within your area, can we say it's sold for this much and it was this, are we allowed to say that?
All right, Tama, to answer your question, as Texas is, a non-disclosure state, but we can send out unsolicited CMAs, I'm sure you've had the training through Moxie Presents also for buyers through Moxie Presents, you can do CMAs. You could also, if I'm sending them a handwritten note, I'm probably just going to send them, as I said in my slides here, a percentage. Did you know that the homes in your market you didn't sell in 19, you know that they've gone up 27%? So I would probably go with a percentage instead of saying, right here on your street, because then I'm not pulling up everybody on the street. I'm going to pull up a neighborhood for the CMA. So I'm going to pull up a very broad spectrum and just give them a percentage of increase.
Okay, thank you so much.
Now I want to move on to FSBOs for the latter part of it. So FSBO strategy, again, something to think about is, and all the training will show you, you want to go in and not try to get an appointment. You're not going in there trying to get their house to sell. The strategy is to build a rapport with them in a positive manner that they like you. And after a while they go, you know what, I'm kind of done doing this on my own. Hey, John, would you just go ahead and list it for me? That's what you're trying to do. Because FSBOs they're selling for sale by owner for a reason. Either some of them don't have a lot of equity into it, and so they really kind of need to. But the other part is that we could do it ourselves. I bought and sold many homes. I can do it myself. Great. Awesome. So you're going in with the thought process, do not try to get the sale. Only set an appointment. They do not want to be sold or turned immediately, but they need to build trust, and you just plant seeds of your knowledge. So eventually they give up and they want to use you. Okay. So the first thing we do on for sale by owners is we ask them if they're willing to work with an agent. Awesome. If so, great. I want to bring a buyer by. Working with an agent, and we simply just call them and say, hi, I'm Amy with JBGoodwin Realtors. Wanted to see if you were, I saw your new listing go up. We'd love to take a look at it. And actually I have several scripts here for you. I'm always, going out every week and seeing the inventory in my neighborhood or my area, whether it's for sale by owner or on the MLS, because I like to go back and give it to my clients and everything going on. May I come and preview your home? The objective is to get in the door and preview the home. I'm a local agent. I'd love to just know I have a buyer, or you don't have a buyer. I want to know the inventory. I'm looking for my buyer. Whatever script you want to use, the objective is to simply get in and take a look at the home. Okay? Tour the home. Build a rapport. Note the positive items. Oh my gosh, that's really a beautiful addition that you did there. Did you have it done? Or look at that beautiful view. Or look at this great green paint you put in the kitchen. That's incredible. Just ask them about it and building that rapport and that trust. Some things that I do towards the end is I say, great, hey, by the way, if I have a buyer that's interested in this, I want to bring them by. Do you happen to have a seller's disclosure statement? And they're like, no, I'm FSBO, for sale by owner. I don't need all those documents. And that's when I tell them, well, actually the state of Texas mandates that every seller provides a seller's disclosure to any buyer coming. Texas Property Code 5.008 says that you have to have this. You know what? I'd love to just send you an email, then you can fill it out. If you give me your email, go ahead and give me your email. I'll send it to you when I get back to the office, then you have it to give it to your prospective buyer. Oh, Amy, that's so great, thank you. So I go back to the office and I send them the seller's disclosure. It was great meeting you today. I was wondering if I can possibly go by and possibly bring a buyer by at this particular time. And I actually try to tell them like at Wednesday, during the day, in the middle of the day, Wednesday at 11 a.m. I'm sorry, I'm at work that time. I only show on the weekends. Oh, okay. Again, it's another opportunity for me to say, great with agents, we get to show at any time. Do you know who? And then at another time down the road, maybe as I'm showing my buyer through, I'm talking to him again. I go, is it kind of hard to be here all the time on your showings? And they're like, oh, it's okay. Or I work from home now. But, another thing you could say is, how do you know who walks through your house if they're pre-approved or not? If they're really valid buyers or not? You're just getting a call off the street. They could just be anybody. Do you ask them if they're working with the lender or they're pre-approved? Oh gosh, no, I haven't thought about that. That's one good thing about allowing agents to come into your house and show up, because we only show pre-approved buyers. So what I'm doing is sending out or planting seeds. So every week I'll check back with them. Hey, John, just thinking about you. How's that going this week? Did you get an offer on it? No. Hey, I was thinking maybe, would you allow me to hold an open house? Well, sure. Why not, Amy? Okay. Can we hold an open house at their house and to bring buyers in? If I'm just looking for buyers, and if you're happy with paying me 3%, then if I can hold an open house here, I'll let them know it's for sale by owner by you. But I could advertise to my clients and, my sphere of influence and put it out there and try to bring buyers off your open house. And from one of these, hopefully I can bring you a buyer. Would you allow me to do that? Well, sure. It's a win-win for everybody. So having an open house is another opportunity for them. Where are you going, John? Well, I think we're going to go to Utah. Do you have an agent there? Well, let me find you one. So they're a great source of outsourcing. Or are you just going to downsize? Can I help you find a home? My services are free. So from a FSBO, you can have open houses. You can eventually win them. You can see if they're going to turn into maybe a buyer for you. And so you just want to go in and almost chum up to them buddy to buddy. You're trying to sell, I'm trying to sell. Let's do this together. But hopefully at the end, you're building a rapport that he's like, you know what, Jeffrey, just take this. Go ahead and do it. You're so good. You've been helping and bringing people by. I really appreciate it. And I'm kind of done with showing people and everything. Go ahead and list it for me. So every week, if you send them a text, you send them a handwritten card, how's it going? And you're sending them little seeds of how much easier it would be. Maybe you go ahead and send them a CMA. And you let them know, prices are going, or you let them know, look, I've been looking at the market activity in that neighborhood, and it's really slowing down, or something like this. You're being an ally until they give up and they use you. The average time is usually about 4 to 6 weeks, and 87% of FSBOs turn if an agent continues with them every week. That's a high percentage. Okay, so I think we've gone through this. Open house, ask if you can assist them where they're moving, do an outgoing referral, or you can certainly help them get them to where they're going, even if they're staying in your same location, and your services will not cost them. Okay, here's some national stats for you. So this is from NAR, National Association of Realtors. Okay, FSBOs account for 11% of home sales in 2018. And they sold their homes for almost $80,000 less. And so that's important to show, and I'm sure that rolls into 19 as well. I don't have the stats up there yet. But FSBOs usually sell for a lower amount. So if you reach out to them and say, I see you have it listed for this, but I think I can get you this. They did not take, so here's your none. FSBOs used to market the home. None. 36%. A yard sign, 31%. Open house, 24%. Friends and family. Some of them bought with these low price service people on the MLS, bought a spot on the MLS. Social networking websites. Of course, they can put it on Zillow now too. For sale by owner websites, we're only 5%. And then some of them took it upon themselves to mail out flyers and do a video, etc. So this is just some national stats for you. Okay. Most difficult task for sale by owner is getting the price right, preparing the home for showing, selling the home within what they think they can sell it for, having enough time and knowing what the next step of the process is. Sometimes, we're in a big military city area and, everybody is PCSing every 2 years. Oh, I've done this all my, I move all the time. I've just got that out of Virginia and Kansas and Florida. Well, it's different in Texas. A lot of those other states have a 2 or 3 page contract. We have 10 pages. Ours is a little bit stickier, And so sometimes I just even tell them, if you need any help along the way, let me know. And give them a little bit of advice. But again, this is prior to it's about advice about giving them your local lender, giving them a title company, giving them inspectors, giving them information resources for you. Okay, not completing a contract, but a continue, giving them resources. Okay. Where do I go find for sale by owners, Amy? I can't just drive around all the time. Okay. Facebook Marketplace, they're all over. Facebook Marketplace has for sale by owners. They have Facebook Marketplace home sales. A lot of the times, if you look on the online garage sales on your Facebook, join those groups, and you'll see everybody starting to have garage sales. A lot of people have garage sales before they go to sell. I also recommend as an agent to drive by local garage sales in your area and hand out your card and see what it's like. Garage sales, estate sales. A lot of times they're cleaning out to sell the home. Craigslist, local paper, driving around in your subdivision. There's also a lot on site. For salebyowner.com, FSBO.com, as you see here, Zillow, militarybuyowners.com, military moving, Army housing real estate network, military by military. So a lot of times they like to just do it themselves and then sell to another military member, but they do allow agents on there, and you can also go on there and see what's out there. Get on there, and what I do is look at the address, and then I go push it over to the MLS, and I have 2 tabs up to make sure it's not listed by another agent, and then I'm calling them. So a lot of resources to find for sale by owners out there. Here's your YouTube video ideas. There's how to call them if you want to call them and go by. Now, they'll always, for sale by owners, always have their phone numbers out there because that's their source of getting in touch with them. So we can go on here and watch this video, how to win the business of for sale by owners. This was from a Tom Ferry. For sale by owner objections. Your first year in real estate earned over 100,000 with FSBOs. Student interview. I also, on some of these, I have scripts, again, that are printed off. And so the slideshow is going to go with you. Beth's responding to somebody right now. So the scripts are going to go to you, and the slideshow is going to go to you so that you can click on all these videos and see what's out there and how you want to make your appointments and how to make them work for you. Okay, that's it. I know we kind of went by fast, but I hope in this you're thinking, wow, I need to develop a plan to get out to these low-hanging fruit. One agent asked me, well, what if I'm calling all these FSBOs, and so is another agent from my office at JBGoodwin? Well, good. May the best agent win, but at the end of the day, what they're going to see is JBGoodwin is out there rocking it. They're out there calling. I've got 3 agents from JBGoodwin calling. I can guarantee you that there's other companies, there's KW, there's everybody else, and they robocall. I ask you to put a different perspective on it and set yourself apart from the robocalling, if you can. Question? Someone come up.
It says the usual objection is that they don't want to pay 3% on each side.
Right. That is the normal standard, yes. And so that's why I say, absolutely, can I bring a buyer? And they say, yes, I'll pay the 3%. And so that's your ticket in the door. Now, the ones who say I won't pay 3%, and you're driving your clients by and they go, hey, Amy, I want to see that house. I'll say, let me give them a call. Are you willing to work with an agent? No, we won't pay any agents at all. So I'll have to tell my client, I'm sorry, but unless you want to pay me the 3% as a buyer, from a buyer broker representation, you'll have to look at that one on your own, because they're not going to be paying my fee. But you very, very rarely come across those. Most of them are just that they don't want to pay 6, they want to pay the 3. So that's where you go in and you build the report. Can I take a look at your house? I want to go back and I want to show it to my 300 agents in my company. I'm going to go back and I want to bring some buyers by. I just want to look at it first, and I want to preview it for my out-of-town buyer. I want to preview it for my buyer. Okay, so I don't have a buyer at this time. I'll go in, I'll take a look at it. My first step to building the report, talk to them before I leave, tell them about seller's disclosure, tell them I'll go back to the office and I email them that seller's disclosure. I wait about 3 days. I call them up. John, I got some clients. I'd like to see if I can set up a showing on your home. Great, sounds good. I'll actually, if I don't have clients, I'll take friends, family members, some objection, I'll say, God, we'd like to come in and preview it. Maybe they will. I will take somebody in person to go preview his house the next time. Take your spouse. Take your children, take your neighbor, take your friend, go by and preview the house. And then so that he sees, that you're showing interest in it, in the house building, in the house, and you build that report. It does take a little bit, but if it's a nice $300,000, $500,000, $200,000 house, and you get a listing there by going by, it's completely worth it for you. Sometimes also, let me tell you, they end up selling it on their own, but they say, thank you, John, so much for helping me through this. Thank you for your advice. And I've told 3 people at work and a person at church about you, and I've handed out your cards. Because even though I sold mine on my own, you were so supportive and professional that now they're your card-carrying fans. Any more questions?
There is. One said that they had one that would only pay 1% if they bring a buyer.
That's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to you if you want to take a buyer for 1% and give away your commission like that, and you'll have to speak with your manager about not giving away broker's commission and everything. To me, I would, I think that's your business plan, but that's a personal thing to do. But that's, again, there's several things involved in that. But it's certainly up to you if you want to work it. And yes, I saw the other question. Is there a form you have to fill out? Yes, Juan, thank you. There is the broker registration form. It's called registration between broker and owner. And it is on zip forms for you. So what I do before you take a buyer, as prepare an offer, you bring a buyer over there, and it just registers, you can actually register that particular buyer to this transaction. So you give that form to the owner, and it's a registration between the owner and the broker, and you can register that specific entity. And if that buyer goes away, then that owner, the FSBO, is not committed to you. They're only committed to you for that buyer. So it gives them a sense of protection. Okay, good question. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, take a look at the videos, take a look at the scripts, try to put a plan together for yourself. And I really think that once you can see that other people do it and it works for them, make it easy for you, because if it's easy for you and you enjoy doing it, and go get that low-hanging fruit. All right, we'll see you all soon.
All right. Thanks, Amy.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.